Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the podcast this early morning. I have another guest with me, not in the geek sphere, so to speak, on our end, as far as the usual, uh, gaming and, like we're talking about today, movies and stuff like that. But he is a fellow content creator. Um, I will give the floor to Mr. Jason. I'll let you let the viewers know what exactly it is that you do on YouTube, and we can go about breaking down what exactly we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Hey, y'all. I'm happy to be here on the channel with the geeks.
That's
So
right.
the Geeks of Rage. It's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Jason Ferrier. I'm in real estate. That's what I do. So nothing as fun as this by far. I have a YouTube channel, The Housing Nerd. I've got another YouTube channel, The Ohio Housing Nerd. So I live here in the Buckeye State with Eric, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is quite different than the typical YouTube content I create, but it's what I'm really excited about. So I'm just thankful to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that you were forthcoming and willing to take time out of your day, because I know you're more than likely pretty busy. I know how just from dealing with a realtor, I can see how you can stay just busy doing that, let alone I know you have investment properties as well, plus doing a YouTube channel, plus you have a family. So it's like you got a lot of things keeping you busy. So I was glad that you were willing to take time out of your busy life to come hang out for a bit, talk about some good old horror movies, and yeah, hopefully have a good stream, have a good time, and make life a little bit easier on you. You just, like I said, hang in there and just hang out. Don't have to manage anything, and just kind of go with the flow, and hopefully have some good conversations, as I'm sure we will.
Absolutely, Eric. Yeah, this man, I just tell the viewers right off the bat. Uh, in our house, Halloween is our favorite holiday.
Yeah.
So we're all about spooky times in our family. That's what we love it. And yesterday, I actually started building my whatever you want to call it, my creature that I put in the yard every year and by the road. And every year we create one. So this year it's my creeper, a Jeepers Creepers guy I'm building. And so maybe I'll be able to send some pictures to Eric here. He can post them on a follow up or something on a post. But
Yeah.
we love Halloween in our house, so I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm the same way. Love Halloween. Love everything about it. Love the fall. So this is just everything is just right up my alley. So to start with, what we're going to be doing for those that might not know, we each have 10 movies on our own list, and I always start with the guest. I will allow them, they pick whatever movie they want to talk about. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. And I'll ask them what movie they want to talk about and then where they would like me to put it on the list. Not saying this is where he's going to put it, but just for instance, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if I'm like, hey, where do you want to put it? And he says the 3 to 4 slot, then I would ask him, okay, why do you want to put it there amongst the movies that you have here? And then he can, you know, either tell some little stories about the movie, like why he likes it so much, or any sort of nostalgic bit, so to speak. And, we'll kind of move along from there. And then once he's done, then we will pull up our combined list, which is of all of our movies, mine and his. And then we'll talk about where we would think that it would rank amongst the full list of 20. And then it'll go to me. And then that'll be the back and forth throughout. So, that being said, Jason, what is the first movie that you would like to talk about? And yeah, where would you like me to place it on the tier list?
All right, let's start with Terrifier,
Terrifier?
and I'm gonna put this. Yeah, and we're gonna put this at the last slot.
The last slot. All right. So, why are we putting it down there amongst this list here? And what do you like
Yeah,
or love
so
about it?
yeah, it's look when I first watched this movie. and I'm probably like Eric in this way. I'm kind of cynical with newer movies. It's just how I am. I like real effects, and I dislike, for the most part, overused CGI. So when this movie, for those that I don't know if everybody's seen this, a lot of people have, obviously, but and it's and the other reason why I added to the list was because it's a newer movie. When I say newer, I look at the year it was made. I was surprised it was made in 2016, but I just watched it for the first time 2 or 3 years ago, and it's really just a raw killer movie that has a ton of gore in it, and a great villain. Art the Clown is a fantastic villain, and the guy the guy knows how to use facial expressions really well in order to convey, fear, or in order to get you to be afraid. I guess not only the viewer, but obviously the victims in his movie.
Right.
And it's got the typical, heroines in the movie that like to run around and they're scared and they're alone, and Art the Clown attacks them, and everything from the beginning when he's at the restaurant all the way through the and I assume spoilers are okay, right? In this, Eric? Like we're not trying to.
Yeah, I mean, you can say some stuff about it. I mean, if you don't, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, you're fine talking about certain like scenes or whatever. I'm sure most
All
people
right.
would don't care. I mean, at this point, I would like to think most people have watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when he's in the restaurant at the beginning, and how he kind of teases the girls, I thought was a really great part of the movie. When he rides his tricycle, that was cool. That was
Yes.
that was an interesting little laugh, when he did that, and just the fact that it was brutal and it was simple and not a lot of CGI, as far as I could tell. That's what made it really. That's why it made the list, the top list for me. And then the other reason would be because the second one I did not like at all, and I didn't even bother watching the third one. And
Oh man.
just because I was like, I've had enough. Like it should have been left alone at number one. As far as my opinion, I was just like, that it is what it is, and then just let the audience go. But I'm like that with a lot of movies where I'm like, don't make a number two, don't remake this thing.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, the villain, just the simple brutality of the movie, and the gore was well placed, and I thought it was interesting. His little bag of tricks that he carried around was fun. So, and like I said, I watched it just a couple years ago, and I considered a newer movie. And when I created my list, I was like, I don't really have any newer movies necessarily
Yeah.
at that time on the list. So I was like, I'll put more of a mainstream movie on here, and so that's why I selected it.
Okay. Fair enough. So I'll say, to elaborate on it, because I love it myself, and it's kind of like, for me, one of those movies I felt, and we'll talk about Hatchet here at some point, of course, because it's on my list. But I felt like it had like those callback vibes of, like, the prosthetics and the practical effects, not the CGI garbage that I just absolutely despise. And I really liked, like what you said. He doesn't say a word. Like, it's got that like Jason vibes. Like, it's all body language and all that stuff, that just the presence and just the stuff that goes along with it. And I really dug it. And the irony is I didn't see Terrifier first. My wife and I, years and years ago, stumbled across All Hallows Eve, which is where, for those that don't know, that's where he came from. And then my wife stumbled across this, and she goes, "Hey, isn't that clown from that movie we watched like not too long ago?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "So we're gonna watch it because it's got to be good." And yeah, I'm with you as far as, like, it definitely, the way the first one ended, they could have just let it go. But for me, because I was like, man, I do kind of want to see what they do with it. I can kind of agree that, in a sense, I don't want to necessarily say it's gone downhill. But I think the reason why they're definitely going to, because at first, before they even made a two, I believe, when I was reading articles a while back, years ago, I thought he originally wanted to do 5, but now they're going to end with the fourth one. So I think maybe even he thought, okay, what more can I do with this? It's, you know what I mean? So
Right, right.
we'll see how it goes. But I didn't think that they were bad, but I could see as the viewer how I'm like, okay, this could get played out really quick if they don't like kind of stop making them as bad as it sounds. Like you don't, as much as I love the Friday the 13th movies, you don't want it to get to that point where it's like, okay, what else are we gonna do? It's the same thing over and over and over again, you know. So
Yeah, I was hoping maybe they would, and actually, I'm kind of contradicting myself, I suppose, because I haven't even seen All Hallows Eve yet. I just wrote that one down. I was like, oh, I haven't even seen that yet. So I'm kind of being the latecomer anyway, seeing only, and I didn't even know what Terrifier was until I was listening to a s- serious show, Howard Stern, which I've listened to Howard Stern forever, and he has a guy in his group of miscreants that cries all the time, and he said that he went to this movie Terrifier and was crying because he's a really big horror guy. So he was like, "Oh, it was the most beautiful movie ever." And anyway, it's completely stupid why he was crying. He wasn't crying 'cause he was scared. He was crying because he liked it so much. And I was like, "Man, that sounds like a great movie." So that's when I went out and my buddies and I watched it. But I guess a lot of these movies, I just wish like they would just leave alone after the
yeah,
first one. But I guess that would have been All Hallows Eve.
yeah,
So I'll have to watch that one. I haven't, and that one's pretty good, huh?
yeah. It is. It's a different actor who played Art the Clown. But
Oh,
he did a good job as well. I thought he did really good. I can't recall his
hmm.
name, but yeah, he did a good job. And I can't recall why
Yeah.
they didn't rehire him for Terrifier. Cause I read up on it a while back, and I couldn't remember if it was like a conflict of interest or if it was just scheduling things. I can't
Money.
remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
So on our list, where would you say, based off of the entire list that you see here, where would you think Terrifier should go?
Let's see. Oh boy. I mean, I still think it's probably in that in that I'm just looking at some of your other picks.
Yeah, it's tough. There's a lot of great movies, and don't get me wrong. That's why it's like it's
There
tough.
is, yeah. Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah. Man, this is so difficult. I guess this is probably gonna be lame. I suppose 13 to 16.
I can go with that. I think I'm just kind of looking. I'm
Maybe
like,
16. I guess you don't get that granular, but yeah, 13 to 16, I suppose, which is probably a cop out, but
no. I mean, I'm looking. I'm kind of like, I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just again because I'm looking at a lot of these movies, and I'm just kind of looking at it like how I kind of hold some of these movies near and dear kind of thing, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could be okay with it being there.
I mean,
In my
in
mind I'm going between 9, 12, and but you're like, but I see where your angle is, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can be okay putting it there. It's no big deal. It's not going to hurt my feelings any.
it, yeah, it's not it's a memorable movie, it's a great horror movie, but it's not I guess I don't get as much out of it as I do some of the other ones.
Yeah, and it was
So
one of
maybe
those
that's why I'm
things
thinking
before
13 to
we
16.
move along. It was one of those things where I just felt similar to you. Like there hasn't been, not saying there hasn't been good horror movies that have came out since like the year 2000, but it's very, very, very few and far between. So it's like it's like one of those movies where like, oh, I actually found something that was good. I can't believe it.
That great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I agree 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, it's yeah, you can't that's kind of what my friends and I thought. We were like, "Oh, can this be any good? It's a newer horror flick." And we were like,
Yeah.
"Wow, okay." And newer by 2016, but
Yeah.
that's newer, I guess.
Right. So I'm gonna go with. Hmm. Man. Mm, I'm gonna start with. I'll start with The Hills Run Red. And I'll put that. I know mine says S, A, B, C, and D, but it's the same thing. It just, for whatever reason, it didn't save when I typed in the numbers. So I was like, whatever. I know what it is. And I'll just,
Okay.
so yeah, so we know what, there's going to be two in each one. So just trying to think. We'll put this. I think I'd be okay with this one being in the B tier. Yeah. Because I'm going in my head, I'm going between A and B. But this one, for those that might not know about this one, I can't remember the exact release year. I want to say it was 2007 ish, somewhere around there. Because only reason why I can remember is around that time was because my wife and I actually, this was one of the great things about Blockbuster back in the day, was we would go there to try to find obscure movies, and we would do the roulette of, all right, we're going to pick something. And, because you never got trailers, it was look at the front, look at the back, hope for the best. And as the running joke used to be for us was the better the cover, the worse the movie. But this one, as good as the cover is, it is actually a really good movie, in my opinion. And it's about a dude who is obsessed with this movie called The Hills Run Red. And it was a movie that did not see the light of day. It was like screened once and then it was like shut down because it was supposedly like the most gruesome thing ever filmed. So him, his buddy, and his girlfriend go on this little conquest to find the director and try to see this movie. And they end up, going along the way finding his daughter, and then she's supposed to lead him to where all this stuff is. And there's stuff that happens along the way, some twists and turns, and the way it ended was really good. And it was one of those movies that, similar to Trick or Treat, which we'll talk about again at some point, it was one of those movies that I wasn't quite sure how it did not go to theaters when there was so many crappy horror movies that made it to the mainstream cinemas. I'm like, how did this one miss the mark? I don't get it. It was it was either a straight to DVD release, or it was one of those things where maybe they showed it in bigger cities, but I live in a smaller city, so maybe that's why I didn't see it in theaters or hear about it. But it is a great movie, and one that, you know, I felt it would hit those Halloween season type of vibes because of, there's wooded areas, and the way that they go through, they're like in the middle of BFE, and you would see why, and just it hits all those things. And it's one that, again, if you haven't watched it, I would suggest giving it a watch.
Yeah, this is one I've never seen, but it's definitely on a list now. So uh, I'm gonna trust you. And I love the Blockbuster reference, and you're right.
Yeah,
There was nothing like going to Blockbuster and like trying to figure out what your parents would let you rent. You're kind of testing the waters, right? You're like, yeah, I can get this one maybe, and
yeah,
then your mom's like, no, no, put that back.
yeah,
And you're like, why? It's like, well, it's Friday the 13th. It's sleazy. It's like,
yeah.
well, kind of, and it's not very gory, but she didn't know that. So
Mhm.
the Blockbuster reference is really cool. You're right. The better the box, usually the movie gets worse.
Yeah. So I know that, like you said, you haven't watched this one. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm just I'll try my best to do this justice with what we have here for our complete list here. And
So is it more of like is it just a like a uh, like a psycho type movie where the guy has somebody's running around like a major villain, or is
there
it more
is,
like
like, what's on the cover art is what is the quote unquote main villain in the movie The Hills Run Red. But like, as far as like the movie
yeah.
that the guy's trying to go see, Um, but there's like a backstory, and I just don't want to give too much away. But there's a backstory as to who it is, and there's just, yeah. But Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm just
That
kind of
guy's pretty creepy, huh? The guy with the mask here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's stuff that I'll just say pay attention to the beginning of the movie, and then that'll make sense. Like pay attention to what's going on in the beginning of the movie, and then about roughly halfway through, it'll make sense why they started with that. One of those types of things.
Got it. And you're saying this went right to video, didn't even hit the theater.
As far as I know, yeah, because I didn't remember seeing any advertisements for it. I know we didn't have anything because, like, back then, that was one of the things we would always try to do is find different horror movies to watch at the movies, and I never heard of it. And it was just one we stumbled across at Blockbuster and was like, here we go. I'm
Right.
trying. I think I'd be cool with this one. Just trying to think. 9 to 12. Hmm. Man, I might have to put this one down at 13-16, maybe. I think. I'm just gonna throw it there. I'm on the cusp, but I think that's it. All right, so going back to your picks, what do you want to rank next, and give us a little bit as to why and what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah. So I will go kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm going to go with Jaws, and I'll put that in the first slot. And this one, Jaws is in my top 5 all-time movie list anyway. So purely for that reason, it has to be near the top. And some people do not. I mean, everybody's seen Jaws. I mean, if you haven't seen Jaws, what are you doing, right? But it's some people don't consider it a horror movie, but the fact that the one of the things I love about some of these movies on our both of our list and obviously mine is that the atmosphere they create in the movie is something I think a lot of movies today lack. And so I really enjoy the atmosphere of Amity, Amity Island. And if you've ever been to that area of the US, that the atmosphere they create with that small little community all being concerned with, real estate prices and the book, by the way, the parallels to the book are fantastic. I mean, the book itself, if you haven't read the book, I highly suggest it because it's or listen to the book because the narrator on the audio version is really good too. I can't remember his name, but the way they create the atmosphere around the shark, the fear that's building in the town, and the fact that you can't see the shark usually. There's not a lot of shots of the shark,
Right.
and how it was made again with no CGI. The fear they create for the audience and the victims in the movie, I really enjoy. And the beginning scene, it's like the ultimate party for kids, right? These kids, it looks like they're out of college or out of high school rather. They're all rich, it seems like,
Yeah.
and they all have parents that own houses on Amity Island, and maybe they all live in New York, in the off season, and then they're in this party, and they this guy and girl get funky, and then they run out. Looks like the guy's gonna get lucky, and he doesn't and passes out, but it's the way that they do that beginning opening scene of the girl getting attacked by the shark is pretty cool, and you don't ever see the shark. So
Yeah.
yeah, the movies it's one of my top movies ever, and I certainly think if you saw it for the very first time, not knowing what it was like, I think it would be a great horror movie. So that's why it's on my list.
I'll say it was. So here's one of those things where it's like, I liked the movie, right? And it's similar, like what you said about Terrifier. They should have just stopped. They should have just stopped with one. Because I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen the sequels, you're not really missing a whole hell of a lot. But they should have just it should have been a
I
one and
mean,
done. And
I mean,
that's
yeah,
me though.
well, I can't, Eric, I can't, you can't. I don't know if I can let you get away with uh, the number 3, right? I mean, yeah, you got to admit that Dennis Quaid um, is fantastic in number 3 when he's riding the little jet
Oh
ski.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean like it had like there's not good
No, I'm
spots,
just
but as
kidding.
a whole, I'm just saying like it's like there's not great like there's certain things that were like okay
No,
about some of those sequels, but as a whole, would I ever go watch them again? No. But
no.
um yeah, I think I haven't even watched those. God, I must have been I might have been maybe in high school just randomly watching them on TV like back in the day, but I just remembered always telling myself like, yeah, okay, well, I'm not going to watch this ever again. But uh yeah, but with Jaws, I felt like similar like what you said. Like I remember when I first watched it, I was a kid. I might have been like 10. And like you said, it was the presentation. You didn't even have to see anything visually gory. It was all the setups, the music, camera shots, everything like that. And it it freaked you out more than actually seeing the shark itself. And I do have a good appreciation for that. Just for this is a me thing, and uh, I've done this with even movies and video games that I've grown up with that I loved as a kid. But as I gotten older, I'm like, it didn't really age as well as what I would have liked. And this is one of those movies where if I watch it as an adult, yes, I have an appreciation for it. I know when it was made, and they did do a whole hell of a lot with it for what they had available to them during this time period. Is it one that I would go out of my way to watch anymore? Maybe just to like show my son one day. But other than that, it's probably one that I personally wouldn't go out of my way to watch ever again. But I do have the appreciation for, again, what they did with what was available to them and how they presented it without having a boatload of blood and gore and stuff like that. I thought it was really well put together.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, and uh, you're one of the things that will shock you about your. I think it will, and hopefully we stay in touch. As your child gets older, because you mentioned showing them a movie that you grew up with.
Yeah.
It's amazing how flat that falls when you think it's going to be a home run, and you're like, "You really don't like this?" And they're like, "No, I don't like it. This is stupid." And you're like, "Oh man, I don't understand that."
Yeah, I can
So
see that.
but that's a side note. But yeah, the maybe the goriest part of the movie is when that dude gets his leg bit off.
Right.
There's a part in the movie where I don't think I'm spoiling for anybody that when he gets his leg bit off, and anytime that somebody's hanging onto a raft or a boat and there's something's attacking them underneath the boat, that's like completely like for me, if I can't see the bottom of a body of water,
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that's just not into it. And so that's something that I can. And in the book, they do a really good job. I don't know if you've read the book or not, but they do a
No,
really
I've
good
not.
job of explaining his fear of water in the book. And so I know that's not the movie, but and I guess the other thing about the book that's interesting is that Hooper and Brody's wife fall in love, and she cheats on Brody with Hooper.
Oh, geez.
So that's kind of a funny part of the book that's not in the movie, obviously. You can kind of, if you know that though, and you watch the movie again, you can kind of see how they flirt a little bit, and all that together, I think, adds that atmosphere that this town relies on the tourist industry. Without the tourist industry, the town's ruined.
Yeah.
And so they got the little newspaper guy that runs around and is all he's like the local beat writer, and he's really concerned about the reputation of the newspaper. This little thousand person town, and
Yeah.
and they got the cop and the mayor and all that. It's just and obviously the actors in it are fantastic. I mean, you can't do better than they cast the movie really
As I
well.
said, that's the other thing. Yeah, since you're not seeing the shark, the actors have to pick up the pieces to make it better, you know? So on our list of 20, where would you say would be a fair shake to put Jaws? I know on your personal one, you got that top tier straight up. I just want to hear where you would think you would put this. If you would still want to put it at top tier, obviously we will discuss that. But go right on ahead and tell me where you feel like this should be.
No, I'm going to be realistic here. I think 9 to 12 slot is fine.
Okay, that's about
Um,
where I was at myself. To be honest, I was like, it's one of those things. It
yeah,
was an innovative movie for the time, and did a lot, and I can't say that it is like poor execution by any means. It's just sadly just hasn't really aged as well as what we would have liked.
Right, understood. Yeah, and I'm fine. I'm realistic in that way, so I won't fight you there.
All right, so going next on my list, let's go. Um, go with the movie Waxwork, and I'll put that, and that's my
Okay.
9 to 10. Have you ever watched that movie before?
I have,
Okay.
yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Waxwork's so good in my opinion. I really love the premises. The sequel, you don't have to watch it. I was disappointed because I actually didn't even watch the sequel until a couple years ago, and I seen that people dive bombed on the rating for it, but I was like, yeah, but there's been movies where I've seen people rank them really low, and they're actually not that bad. This one, the second one, was not very well executed, but the first one was really really good. And when they're going through, the thing I loved about it was so I don't want people to get confused like Waxwork with House of Wax. So yes, there's similarities, but instead of just the figures themselves being wax, the scenes that are set up in the wax museum, it's almost like it's basically like a portal. So the characters will go into these scenarios. Like one of them is like the werewolf, and there's a hunter going after the werewolf. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'll just say uh, the one of the characters gets bit by the werewolf, and then the hunter ends up going after that character in that particular sequence. And then there's one with I want to say Dracula or vampire. I can't recall if they actually mentioned its name is Dracula or not, because it's been a few years since about 2 years since I watched it. But yeah, but there's a vampire sequence and like I don't want to call it a torture sequence, but it's like a medieval type looking era. Um, but yeah, just the stuff that goes on along with it, I thought was well executed. Again, great with the practical effects and stuff like that. And I can never remember the guy's name, but he's the main character in Gremlins. He's in this movie as a main character as well. And I can never remember the guy's name. And I had it on, like, I even looked it up last night so I wouldn't forget. And I forgot again.
Yeah, you're talking about Billy Peltzer, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank without Googling it. I guess I could. Um, well, I was gonna mention, David Warner in it. Fantastic villain, right?
Yeah.
Just, like, the way the guy, he reminds me we watched a movie last night, very similar type feel. There's a guy in it. No, I'm sorry, it's a Howling 2 that I watched a couple nights ago, but he has a very there's an older guy in it. I don't remember his name either, but David Warner anyway in Waxwork is like the perfect host of pain, right? Or host of horror, whatever you want to call it. I kind of like that.
Yeah. And yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's really good. And again, to me, this was one that I feel it still holds up, even if it's from the '80s. It still holds up really well. Of course, you and I will probably have a bias with that because it's around our era. So, but yeah. So that being said, on our top 20, where would you be comfortable putting Waxwork?
where would you put it on your list? Is that what you
So
would do?
my personal list, just out of my personal top 10, I put it at based
Yeah.
upon those ones, I put it at the bottom. Just out of those 10,
Okay.
I put it. It was around 9. I'd say 9, 10. I'd say. But
So
here, I don't know.
yeah, this one I was thinking in the lower tiers. We're probably going to fill that 13 to 16 slot pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
I'd be
So
okay with 17 to 20.
yeah, I'm fine with that too. But if you have to, yeah, if somebody is watching this and hasn't checked it out, I would definitely recommend it.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie.
Cool idea. Yeah, really cool idea. Right? Because you go into those museums as a kid, and if you've been into a wax museum before, like a real one, like in Vegas or something, like they're kind of creepy in a way. So it's cool that they come to life.
Yeah.
And like you said, the practical effects are always really nice to see.
Yep.
Really nice to see.
So what do we got next on your list, and where would you like me to put it on the list for you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jeepers Creepers, I think.
Okay. Where would
And
you
I'm
like
gonna
me to put
put
that?
this one I'm gonna put this one 7 to 8.
All right.
So, I mean, Jeepers Creepers to me, and I've got my little guy next to me, a little Jeepers Creepers
Yeah.
guy, who's not very scary looking. I was disappointed in the mask. But and I watched this actually last night again. I love the fact that he's like I'm really into Mothman, and I think Bigfoot's cool too. So this guy reminds me of like a cryptid villain in this movie. And it's basically it, and I, you know, one of the other things I love about it is they don't really explain where this villain comes from. It's more of like, here he is. You know, he just lives in this town,
Yeah.
and people in the town are like, you know, there's this crazy, nasty, crazy, you know, horrible villain creature thing, cryptid that lives in our town, and we're just gonna kind of hang out and just, you know, eat our lunch at the diner or whatever. So I love the fact that he's real, and it's not CGI'd. It's actually a real person,
Right.
and the way the different unexplainable tricks that he has, and uh, different, I guess, actions he goes through. So whether it's torturing people, or whether he's flying, or whether he's jumping over cars, um, or whether he is hitting somebody with an axe, and then he uses a shotgun at one point. So he's just has a lot of different ways of hurting people and causing mayhem, and looking scary. I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. And you know, the actors in it, eh, you know, the guy, I was noticing that last night. I don't remember their names. One guy was like the main actor. The younger guy is in seems like every movie at that time.
Justin Long.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and his like face of like when he's surprised is not very good. The girl in it is, I think, a better actor, and I think she does a better job. But nobody likes her. Obviously, you kind of want her to be the one taken at the
Yeah.
end. That's probably, you know. But anyway, if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend it because it has a lot of real effects in it. It has a real villain in it, and they don't do a lot of exposition and explaining where this guy came from. He's just evil and there. So I think that's cool. And the song that they kind of rope into the theme is
Yeah.
pretty cool too. So that's why I like them.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. That was one of the, again, going back to movies from the 2000s and from then till today, one of the few movies that I found that were really good because I don't want to dive too hard into it, but for me, if you were to compare 80s, 90s, 2000s and beyond, the 90s kind of as a whole, not saying there wasn't good ones, I felt like it kind of fell flat. And the 2000s, they started kind of, it seemed like there was, I don't want to say they took it more serious, but I think they just came up with better stories and execution on how they filmed stuff and trying to really, I guess, bring horror back, so to speak. But this was one that I thought was really good and a lot better than the title of the movie would make you think. Because, yes, it sounds corny calling it Jeepers Creepers, but it really is a solid movie. So, where would you think, based upon our top 20 here, where would you be wanting to put this amongst the rest?
Yeah. So I'm thinking for me, it would be in the um probably the 13 to 16 slot.
Ooh, let's see.
And should I be able to see, Eric, the way you're as these fill in? Do I
Yeah.
just have to refresh it?
Um, I don't know. No, it'll the only way you'd be able to see that is through the stream.
Okay, no
But
worries.
if you need me to, I can let you know where everything's
No,
at.
no, that's fine.
So I'm just trying to think here. 13, 16. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'd be okay with
I'd be
that.
fine
Yeah.
with it in 9 to 12 too, if you
Because I'm just trying to think, because there's only a few on here that like I'm looking at, and I'm like, well, in my mind, we'll get to them, but there's a couple off the top of my head I know that I would immediately throw down in the bottom, but there's the one, and then there's ones I can't really talk about, which is The Exorcist 3 and The Witch. Those ones I haven't watched, so I have nothing on those. But I'll put it in 13, 16. I think that's okay. I don't see why not. All right, so going back, seeing what we got here. I am gonna go with um. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go. I think. Hmm, I'm just kind of blanking here on what I'm wanting to put out of what I have left. I'm like, what would I really put in the D tier? So I think what I'll put in the D tier based off of what I see is going to be Flesh Eater. And I love zombie movies, especially ones from the 80s. And of course, it's probably cliche to say, but Return of the Living Dead is probably my favorite zombie movie. But I did like Flesh Eater for uh, a multitude of reasons. I did like it. I liked how the story played out. The one thing that caught my eye when I first seen the cover, I know it's kind of hard to see because it's small, but it's the same actor who played the first zombie you see in Night of the Living Dead. I can't remember when I was reading up if he actually wrote it or if he just directed it. I think he wrote and directed this, and then he's also playing the main antagonist, which is the quote unquote flesh eater or the zombie, right? So it starts off, usual teenage angst, right? And is this one you watched? I hope.
It was a while ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it recently, but
Okay.
I have watched it before, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, they start off there in a wooded area trying to party, blah, 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 blah. And then they stumble across this casket that was buried, and it's telling them not to open it up. And, you know, seems like some satanic stuff and this, that, and the other thing. And then, of course, it gets opened, and there it is. And then it all starts playing out. But it was really well executed, again, especially for when it came out. I thought it was really good. And uh, the the ending was good, and there's certain things it's hard to say anymore, like, oh, it had a swerve at the end or something like that, because most people, they'll go back and go, they might be able to see it coming, but again, when was it made? You might not have seen it coming, you know what I mean? So you got to take those things into account. But overall, I thought it was a great zombie movie, and one, if you have not watched, definitely check it out.
Yeah, lots of gore, obviously. It has more of that, like, it's not full on grindhouse, but it's similar to that,
Yeah.
in how it's presented. And uh if I remember right, and I'm trying to think about this, I'm pretty sure I'm correct. There is a good amount of sleaze in the movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty sleazy.
Yeah.
Um, and by the way, it's a funny thing as your son gets older, um, and they start talking about movies, him and his buddies. I kept telling him, I'm like, you guys are missing out on older movies because that's where all the sleaze is, man.
Yeah.
Like you like like the newer movies don't, everything's PG-13
Yep.
or a lot of things are. But back in the day, sleaze like a movie like this was just it was like a given. Like, oh yeah, the girl's
That
got to take her top off.
that's why,
It's
yeah, it's a trope.
why?
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. She just needs to, just because. And you're like,
Yes.
okay, great. You know, I mean, and so we always notice that when my buddies and I are watching movies now. It's like, yeah, uh, there's hopefully there's some boobs in this one.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'd probably say similar based off of what I'm seeing here. This one would probably go 17, 20 on our top 20 list.
yep,
All right, I'm good with that.
makes sense. Yeah,
All
but
right.
definitely one to check out.
Oh, absolutely. So going back to yours. All right, what do we got?
Yeah. So let's do. Um, mm, I'll do Hellraiser
All right, and where are we putting
next.
Hellraiser? It's got to be towards the top, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be in that 3 to 4 slot for me.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so tell us a little
And
bit about why.
yeah, so Hellraiser is it's more of a it's more of uh like a torturous passion sexual movie in a way.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's definitely a horror movie, but a lot of it's based on just like sexual desires that people have in that are kind of obviously gory and most people wouldn't find attractive. But I think that's part of it. Is it's kind of like there's a lot of there's obviously a lot of sleaze in the movie, but it's done in a way where it the problems that the protagonist goes through and the kind of the inner torture that she has is all based on, it seems like a lot of it's just sexual desire again. So
Yeah.
but it has a ton of actual body horror in it, a ton of gore. The concept is pretty simple. There's an individual, a guy who is sick of what he's getting on Earth as far as sexual pleasure, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to go to the gates of hell and find something that I can really sink my teeth into, supposedly. And so he meet. So how he gets he gets an item that much like the last movie that Eric was talking about, Flesh Eater. Like he opens the gates of hell through a device, and it summons demons into our world, and then is caught kind of between the two worlds. And the way he acquires that portal to hell is like it always makes me crack up because it looks like the guy from Gremlins,
Yeah.
the old man from Gremlins,
Yeah.
right? Is like he's selling Gremlins and then he turns around and sells like a demonic box
Yeah.
on the next day, I guess, for more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way they summon the demon, the again, I don't want to give up too much, but the gore in the movie is fantastically done,
Oh, yeah.
fantastically done, and it and it leaves the audience hanging. It really does.
Yeah.
So I love this movie. It's and I haven't actually, the first time I watched it was like a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like one of those ones, and obviously it has the villain. Everybody knows Pinhead.
Right.
It's got Pinhead in it, and that he's a really cool villain. And I had always, that was one of the movies you saw at Blockbuster on the
Yep.
shelf, and was like, hey, I think I want to watch that. And Mom's like, no, you can't watch that.
Yeah.
And so I never did. And then I checked it out, I think on Shutter one night a year and a half ago or so, and I was like, wow, this was fantastic. And the other ones aren't bad either. I haven't seen past 3,
I'll say I seen
but
the
2
first
and 3 aren't
4, and
horrible.
I enjoyed all of them. And I'll just add, like, similar to you, like, it wasn't what I was expecting going into it, because when I first watched it, my because everybody has kind of like their corner of horror that they kind of drift to, and I'm like, it's probably kind of goes kind of without saying, based off of my own list, I like a lot of the slasher type stuff because that's what I grew up on, right? So like when I seen Pinhead, I was thinking that's kind of what it was going to be, like, oh, this guy's going to end up chasing whoever, and it's going to be like one of those things. And it absolutely was not like that. It's like, yes, does he chase per se? Yeah, but it's not like how you think. It's not the traditional he's running after him. And then also, it's not just him. I won't say too much more, but it's not just him that comes out of the box. It's just, and there's lots of
Right.
layers to it, and there was a lot more layers to it than what I was expecting, and that's what kind of opened me up to it. I was like, wow, this is the type of horror that I was not expecting, but I did like the presentation of it, and definitely one that I do periodically throw on whenever I see it, like on Tubi or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure, throw that on for some background stuff if I'm doing stuff around the house or whatever. But it's a good one, and one that I definitely would suggest if you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. It's a good one.
Hmm. Agreed.
So
Yeah,
where would you
it's
think
a
this one would
great
go
flick.
on our top 20?
Yeah, I'm thinking it would. I mean, I'd probably put it 5 to 8.
Hmm. Just trying to think here.
Too high?
No, no. If anything, I'm in my mind, I'm like, man, this might actually go 1 to 4 because I'm like seeing what's left. I'm like, this might, in my mind, based off of these movies, I'm like, this might be a 1 to 4. But again, I haven't watched The Witch and I haven't watched Exorcist 3, so that's where my mind's going. Because I'm like, um,
We could
man.
move one, couldn't we?
Typically,
Like,
the fun in it is usually I just tell people wherever we put it, it just sits. So that way we're
okay,
not
okay.
jumbling around. But um, I'm just sitting it there for right now. I'm just looking. Um, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I could. I don't think I could put it in 5 to 8.
Okay. I'm good with that. It's a great movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm
I mean,
just
the
like,
name is cool.
yeah,
The
yeah. It
name is
is
cool, right?
right.
I mean, I'll just say, like, the thing that sticks out in my head about that one again is the hooks. When you didn't
Oh
mention it
yeah,
exactly, but the
yeah,
body horror and the hooks in
yep.
it are unreal.
Yeah, how they
So
did
what's your
that, I
next
have
one?
no idea.
Oh,
But yeah, going into the next one, let's see here. Uh, I'm gonna go with an easy one. This might not be for you, but this is a me thing, and I'll explain why. There's um not only just nostalgia, but now tradition brought in with it, and that's Killer Clowns. I'm throwing up an S tier, which would be my top two. And Killer Clowns is number one. Amazing prosthetic work and practical effects for the time, especially for the type of movie it was. Like they put a lot into it, so it's visually appealing. There is minimal CGI, like just for certain stuff, like with the ray guns and stuff like that. But outside of that, everything else is practical effects. Like my wife and I, we absolutely love it when they go into the spaceship and how everything's layered out, the colors and just everything, the vibes that it gives off. Everything was really cool how they set that up. And yeah, some of the acting is, of course, very B-rate, but this is one of those movies. If there was one movie that you could describe as like top tier B-rate, this one has to take the cake. And why I say like for traditional reasons why I love it is because this movie is one of those ones where so every year we watch it, but now my wife and I like what we do is we pick a day where we know like the weather's going to be kind of like good fall weather, like the, mid 50s, low 60s at most. And then like, we'll watch it. We'll go to a local orchard that's about 20 or so minutes away from where I live. We'll go hang out there for the day. They have like a vendor that has like fresh kettle corn, right? So we'll get some caramel corn, some other stuff. Then go back to the house and wait till nighttime and throw this on, hang out on the couch, watch it, and that's our thing. Like, I know it sounds very very boring, but it's our
no.
little tradition. You know what I mean? So it's like that's just our little thing, and we're looking forward to someday being able to do that with our son. Because yes, is there technically gore in the movie? Sure, but it's not anything in my mind where I would see it like scarring a kid. Because I mean, we're not going to show it to him right away, but I would like to think that like maybe by the time he's like 11-ish, I would think that because like to today's standards, I would say this is probably like PG-13, right? I would say, but yeah, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, so Killer Clowns is yeah, top tier for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great story. Yeah, and great tradition. I don't think that's cheesy at all. I think that's awesome tradition to go out and do that. You know, the thing in that's a Midwestern thing, right? You go out to
Yeah,
the orchard and get your kettle corn and then go back and watch Killer Clowns. It's
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, the thing about the I didn't really pick up on this until recently. I didn't see the whole. I've seen the movie obviously, but I haven't rewatched it in a while. Recently, I picked up on. I was watching some of it. Like you said, it was just on in the background, and all of a sudden, I got this idea. I was like, you know what? This seems like Critters.
yeah,
It
yeah.
seems
It's
like a
kind of
movie like
similar
Critters.
like
And
that.
then,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, the person that worked on the special effects also worked on Critters,
yeah,
and so it has that same vibe to it. I love it because they have a clown. They take something kind of stupid, a clown, a killer clown from
yeah.
outer space, and
Yep,
then because there's tons of killer clowns. We already have one on our list, right?
yep.
But they then just but they just go all in with it. They're like, "Nope, this is what they do." They got cotton candy, death rays and all that stuff,
Yeah,
and it just I can see why this is like your top pick. I can see that because it's really cool. I
it
love the
really
movie
is.
and yeah, and a lot of people have seen it, but if you haven't, obviously this is one that you're right. It may even be okay for like, younger teenagers or whatever. And compared to some of the stuff that the kids see now on the internet,
Yeah.
like this is like pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like one of those ones that doesn't obviously it doesn't take itself too serious given the title of the movie. It's just like a fun movie. Like it's just yeah, I mean it's not anything too crazy. Like there's not like it doesn't go out of its way to do like a bunch of random jump scares which I absolutely hate with a lot of new movies now. They just it's the faux jump scares or too many jump scares. I'm like, can you just tell the damn story without, it's I yeah. But the way it's presented very very well. But yeah, it's a really fun movie. So where would you be okay with this one going based off of what we have left on our top 20?
I mean, it's so for me, it's a great movie. It's not in the top of my list,
Right.
but um like I would be if it's if it's one of your favorites, I can appreciate that enough to say, well, if it's in the top 4, I'd be okay with that. And obviously 5 to 8 I'm okay with too, but so I'll let you make that decision, but I think,
Mm.
since you like it so much and I can respect it, like if you were like, "Hey, it's Friday the 13th part 5 is my favorite." I'd be like, "Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's not
part
gonna go
5.
in number 1 to 4."
Yeah.
But I think this one just because of there's nothing else like it, right?
Yeah.
It's kinda like Hellraiser in a way where there's
Yeah.
nothing like it, just on the other end of the
Um,
spectrum.
I'm just trying to think. Cuz like looking at this, what else I would put in the top 4? Well, this is just me thinking myself based off
Yeah.
what we have. I'm like, hmm, man. Mm, yeah. I'm like there thinking, gosh dang it. Yeah. I'll put it. Yeah, I'll put it 1 to 4. I think because I'm not saying that these other ones aren't good. I'm just trying to think. I'm like, because we got 2 more, and I'm like sitting here going in my head. I'm kind of figuring where I think or what I think would be going up there, and if there was anything else that would bump this down to that 5 to 8. And I just don't know unless The Witch is just that amazing or The Exorcist 3 is just that amazing. Because like those are like I said, those are the only 2 that I'm like I don't know. So I'm just going off of what I know.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think you just trust your instincts, man. I mean, it's again, I think, the fact that you have to listen to the fact that you've built a whole day around this movie, you
Yeah.
know? That has a lot of weight to it. I mean, you're not building the whole day off of waxworks.
Yeah. No, no, I'm
So it's
not.
like, so that's, that says something about how much it means to you, and I think that's important.
All right. So where are we at on for your top 10? What are we talking about next?
Yeah, man. So like we'll go to Exorcist 3. This g- I was going to actually have Exorcist 1 on the list, but honestly, Exorcist 3 is a better movie.
Is it?
It's a much scarier movie. I think it is. I think it is. It feels like, and you would love to see Exorcist, the original Exorcist, done with in the way that they did Exorcist 3.
Okay.
There's not a lot of First off, there's not a lot of gore. But it's a lot of just inferred fear and really the demonic way that they bring out, the way they bring out the demon in the movie. Obviously, it has a demon in it, as all the exorcists do.
Right.
Is is awesome. It's all done without actually ever seeing anything, any demons at all. And there's no head spinning. There's no upside down walking. There's no using a crucifix the way that Linda Blair did. It's nothing like that. It's very atmospheric. And George C. Scott is one of my favorite actors. It sounds really cheesy, but he is. It started when he did, which is not a movie that most people will like, but The Christmas Carol. He did a version of The Christmas Carol. I grew up on that though, and so George C. Scott in this movie is amazing. And one of the things that carries over from Exorcist 1 to Exorcist 3, skipping Exorcist 2 because that's a horrible movie, is the fact that they have a great dialogue in the movie. They just do. The dialogue with George C. Scott and the priest, I can't remember the actor's name, but that dialogue is amazing, and it does have one of the best jump scares ever. It does, but it's earned. It's an earned jump scare. It fits the movie perfectly. It's completely unexpected if you haven't seen that part of the movie, and the only thing I'll say about it that probably knocks it down a little bit is the ending. The
Okay.
ending of the movie is not. It was forced from the studio. I'll say that it was forced, and this movie was based on a book from Peter Blatty, William Peter Blatty. So I love this one though, and way better I think than the first one. It's what horror movies should be, in my opinion. I highly recommend it. It's a slow burn. It's definitely a slow burn. It's not something where you're like, "Whoa, this is crazy." It's that to sit there, turn off the lights, and focus on the movie and get through it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so, where would you put
Oh,
this on the
real quick.
list?
Yeah, so real quick, the other thing I'll mention is that the demon in the movie itself,
Yeah.
when you do see who the demon is or what that looks like in real life, um, I'm trying to remember that guy's name. Or Brad, I can't remember the guy's name. But he doesn't. He's fantastic too. So, dude who's locked up in the cell will scare the bejesus out of you. And I would probably put this one in the second to highest slot, so
Three to
5 to 8.
oh five. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
you got
Uh,
one, two,
th-
three,
three
four,
to four.
five. Okay. So you're in 3, 4. All right. So based off of what's left of the top 20, where would you see this one sitting amongst its
Yeah, I
peers?
would do it at 9 to 12 probably.
Okay, throw that up there. Listen, I got nothing on it, so I can't, really elaborate. So now going back, let's see. I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna go Maniac, and I'm gonna put that Man, I'm going between C and B. Think I'm gonna. I think I'll put it in C for now. I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, well, now, yeah, I'll put it in B. So, is this one that you've watched? I hope.
I have not.
Oh
I've not seen
man.
this.
Oh, it's good. So, it was made or released rather. It was released in 1980. So, revolves around a guy who's clearly got mommy issues. Uh, we'll just say similar to Norman Bates in that regard, but and it kind of they don't spell it out for you. Like you see it. It's one of those movies where it's almost like you have. I don't want to say you have to watch it twice, but when you watch it the second time, it all makes sense. Like kind of how they chop up, like how things were edited, and how they kind of go back and forth. Like he sees, like he has certain visions and stuff like that. So the killer, he's obviously mentally unstable and has issues, and he he's killing women, and he has like these visions like he's killing his mom, and uh like on the cover how it's showing him like holding like it looks like a basically like a wig, but that's because he'll scalp him and then he saves the hair. But he in like throughout the day, like they show it like he acts completely normal, like well we'll use that term loosely, but he's like not obviously insane like when they're showing him interacting with regular people. It's just then you start seeing stuff happen, and it's always at nighttime when stuff happens. And there's a particular scene that always stuck out in my mind when I first watched it, and I thought to myself, because I think this made it to theaters, I'd have to go back and check, but there's one scene in particular where I was like, man, for 1980, that had to be just gruesome. So there's like a couple, and I don't mean to spoil, but I can't not talk about this scene. So there's like a couple, and of course, they're about to get it on in a car, and then the woman, she's like, first like, did you hear something, whatever, and then they end up seeing the guy. And then it just cuts the scene, and I was not expecting it to happen the way it did. He just jumps on the hood of the car with a shotgun and shoots the dude point blank in the face with it, and it shows like his head explode. And I'm like, holy crap, like for back then, like that's just wild. And it actually, the way they did it with the practical effects, it did not look bad at all. Like a very well put together graphic scene, especially for the time. But overall, the movie I thought was good. My wife, she didn't really care for it. She thought it was dull, but I liked it, and I liked how they presented everything. But it was one, in my opinion, I thought it held up. And they actually did do a remake of it, which I never watched it. But Elijah Wood is I'm assuming based off of how I seen it, I think he's the killer in the movie. But if you haven't watched it, yeah, I definitely would suggest giving it a look.
Yeah, I have not seen this, but one of the things that occurred to me when you said talked about the shotgun moment, that was done. I think I looked it up real quick. I think it was done by Tom Savini,
Okay.
right? Who did the gore in that? And he did that. I think that was like he did that after we did this one, obviously after Dawn of the Dead. But it was. I think they've said that's one of the best head explosion moments in movie history.
Oh, it's
I
crazy.
remember seeing that on like a some kind of YouTube video. They were talking about some of the best moments of horror movies, and so the head explosion with the shotgun, and now that rung a bell, and I was like, yeah, I think that was Tom Savini. So he's obviously good
Yeah.
at that stuff. So that's I'll have to check that one out. I wrote it down, obviously.
So, I'm just trying to look because I know obviously you haven't watched it, so I'm trying to think. Yeah, I definitely know you'll have an appreciation for it. I would like think based off of seeing how our lists are, I'm like, yeah, I would at least like to think you would walk away from it not feeling like you wasted your time. That's for sure. Um,
Yeah,
Let's
And
see.
even if it is a waste of time, it's probably still be fun to watch.
Um, I'm gonna have to. I'm thinking. I'm thinking 9 to 12 based off of what I see, because I'm trying to think what I believe would be going down in the last two slots of the very bottom, and then what would go in that 13 to 16. I'm like, yeah, I think that would fit right. Yeah. All right. So what do we got now left with your top 10? We got Halloween 3, Blair Witch, The Thing, The Witch, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, so I'll do let's go to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
All right. Let's see if I know where you're going to put this, because this was one where I thought it'd be at the very bottom, but we'll see what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, yeah, you can put in that last slot. Um no doubt for me, 9 to 10. Um Many people would say why in the hell would you put Halloween 3 on the list but not Halloween
Yeah.
or any other one for that matter? I like it cuz it's different than all the other ones. I like that. Um I like the first one. I like the first Halloween, obviously, because of Jimmy Lee Curtis is awesome. It's a great. It has a lot of atmosphere with Trick or Treat. They do they do a really John Carpenter. I really like John Carpenter as a director, but he lays out the feeling of Halloween in California. The only thing that gives it away is the fact there's obviously outdoor schooling. Uh, but Free to me is better because it's so different, and the concept of the possessed mask is fun, and it has some good gore at the end, kind of. But up until then, it's not really a gory movie, and the song is cool. You can't deny the song, right? You just can't. And the reason really this made the list, Eric, was because out of a lot of other horror movies, I remember specifically laying in bed at night, and my mom, there were other people over at the house, like my mom had some friends over or something, and they were watching this, and I wasn't allowed to watch it because I was too young. So they were like, "No, you need to stay in bed." And I remember hearing that song, thinking, "What in the world kind of movie is that?"
Yeah.
And wanting to sneak out and kind of look at it, and no, no, you can't. You need to go back to bed. So that's why it made a lot of nostalgia there with the flick. And I needed to put a campy movie in. I kind of consider this camp because
Yeah.
the acting is not great
Right.
and the special effects are horrible. So yeah, put it at the bottom.
Yeah. I would
But I
say
would, I recommend it though. It's
it's
a fun
not
movie.
bad. Like it's not a terrible movie. Of course, this I'm gonna probably say the thing that everybody says, they should have never called it Halloween 3. Period. It should have just been its own separate movie. Like it just should not, because like when I
Yeah.
first watched it and I got through the whole movie, I'm like, not one time is Michael Myers in this movie. Why is it called Halloween 3? Like none of this makes sense. Like it threw me for a loop, but it wasn't a terrible movie. No. But it's not, yeah, it's not like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's not terrible, it's not great, but you know, yeah. But
Yeah.
one I don't think, I would like to think anyways, maybe you wouldn't feel like you wasted your time. Maybe some people would. I don't know. It just depends on, I guess, your taste in movies, I guess, or taste in horror. So I would be safely assuming this one's going to be going into the bottom tier on our top 20, 17, the 20 to
Yep.
17 mark. Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah. And I think I will recommend this movie, but I also think there's a lot of people that will watch it and think they wasted their time.
Yeah. Yeah. It just
I
depends.
I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is fine. I mean, it's definitely not for everybody.
So going back to mine, I'm going to talk about, let's see. Um, we're going to go. I'm gonna go Sleepy Hollow and put it at A. So I had to think of something that in my mind came from the 90s, even though this was the back end of the 90s. I believe this was 99 when it came out. But this one is one I can watch over and over again. It was just so well put together. Yes, it's taking the old story and just turning it into a movie, but again, it's how it's put together and the execution I thought was really well put together, and just I thought the acting was really good. And yeah, I mean it's just it hit all the vibes. And of course it probably helps, like, I'm a sucker for a Tim Burton film, so it's like he's got the way he does everything, the dark, dreary stuff, and just how he kind of does things. It was just really good, and it hits all those Halloween vibes, obviously. So I mean, it's just it goes without saying that this is one that during Halloween season you can't go wrong throwing this one on. Um, but that's all I'll say on that. But it's just really good, and one that's definitely, in my opinion, top tier. Not super gory. Yes, there's kills in it, but it's not like blood's gushing out all over the place. But um, but yeah, people obviously get killed, and there is blood in it, but it's not what you would probably or possibly think. Uh, but yeah, that's it. That's what I got for Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, I would agree. It's a well executed movie. Tim Burton does a every movie he uh, directs. He does a fantastic job with the trees and the fog and making you feel all spooky.
Yep.
The sets are and the backdrop very good. Obviously, the acting is great with Johnny Depp and Christopher Walken.
Oh yeah.
Um, can't remember the girl's name in it.
Christina Ricci.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. And it's not in my top list, but I can completely appreciate why it would be. It's a cool story.
Yep.
Kabod Crane is a neat story and a fun movie. This is probably maybe our most family friendly movie of everything. Maybe
Yeah,
this and the
I'd
Killer
probably
Clowns, but
say.
even this is
Yeah.
probably a little more dialed down.
Yeah. So where would you feel putting this one on our top 20?
I mean, because of the level of direction and acting in it, which I don't know, and I'm not. I got to look through the rest of our list. I mean, maybe Jaws has running for its money with acting, the level of actors in it. Uh, so I would say in the near the top, right? I would think maybe, like I would even be in kind with 5 to 8,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
just
about
because
where.
of the
Yeah.
the, the level of movie it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'd be good with that because I'm just kind of looking with what we have left. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. All right. So getting back to your top 10, we got
Yep.
Blair Witch, The Thing, The Witch, and Texas Chainsaw. So where are we going with next, and where's it going?
Yeah. So we'll do Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, obviously.
Yep.
I actually saw this for the first time a couple years ago as well. This
Okay.
is one that I had never watched. I've watched the newer ones. When they came out, they revived it. I don't remember when. It was like 15 years ago or
Say
something.
the remake that came out, I believe 2003 or 2004. Because I know it was like I was on the back end of high school. It was like I want to say it was either my junior or senior year. So that's why I'm like in my mind going 2003 or 2004. I just can't remember which year.
Yeah, and so I had watched those, but I had never watched the original. A couple years ago, I did, and the way they shoot this movie, it looks old. It feels grimy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels almost found footagey
Yeah.
in a strange way.
Yep.
And I think it's inspired a little bit. There's some Silence of the Lambs type vibe in there. Psycho, came to mind too, just how it's set. For some reason, the middle of nowhere Texas scares the life out of me. Like that,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've traveled through that area in the middle of the night, driving across country, driving in the Texas region or the Southwest region, and it's scary. So they just run into people that are obviously I have a problem here. Hold on. They run into some people that aren't right in the head,
Yeah.
and they're just psycho, and they torture people, and there's not a lot of gore in it. There's actually not a lot of blood in the movie,
Right.
but the villain Leatherface. Probably the thing that sticks out to me in the head as far as a scene would be the end of the movie. I'm sure most people have seen it. But the
Yep.
way that Leatherface is waving his
Mhm.
chainsaw around in the air like
Yep.
a maniac, it's like you can tell that he's not going anywhere. He's still there waiting on the next victim. Now he's just more angry.
Yep. Yeah.
And I like it when villains don't die.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it when it's not a great ending. Like, not everybody is happy now. This girl's tortured for the rest of her life mentally, and her entire family and friends and whoever, especially it felt bad for the guy in the wheelchair. I was like, wow, that was a weird thing to do. Um, like, you're gonna be using a wheelchair like around in the woods. I don't think that's gonna work very well.
No, not
And
at all.
so all those people folks are dead. And then she's just, has to leave and deal with this mentally while Leatherface waits for this next victim. So I like that.
Yeah, and I
This would
agree.
be yeah, this is near the top. So I'm right there. Probably I can't do 3 to 4. Well, man, this is crazy. Now it becomes real, right?
That's what I was looking. I was
I
like,
guess
well, we got 1 to 2 or 5 to 6, and I'm like, I don't know how you would
it's
rate
gotta
the
be
other ones.
5.
So are you gonna put this in the 5 to 6 or
5
yeah,
to 6, yeah.
yeah. So I'll just touch on real quick. Yeah, I was similar to you. Like when I watched it, it was funny. Like I can appreciate the storytelling on how they did everything out, and of course, with the name of the movie, you're expecting a lot more. I don't even want to say just gore, but the what like you would have expected, I guess, a little more. But again, the way they shot it, the grittiness of it, and just the overall vibes, and then how they did stuff. Like when they're sitting there at the dinner table, like that scene, holy crap, it grosses me out watching the grandpa trying to like eat and then sucking on her fingers and stuff. I was like, what the hell is going, like it was just so bizarre. And I'm just going, and it's just again the way it's shot and just how everything looked, it hit. And then for a movie of its time, again, it was just really good. And I'm not going to touch too much on the remake, but usually I'm not really a huge fan of remakes, but the remake was really, really well put together. And I think it was one of those remakes where it did what it was supposed to do, which was, I guess you could say, give us the quote unquote gore or violence that you would have expected from the first one, but they just didn't have the technology or capabilities maybe of doing some of those things that they did in the remake, and it definitely added that layer of violence, but the storytelling was still really good and the acting was really good as well in that remake. But on our top 20, where would you want that to be? So we got one slot left in our bottom three tiers between 9, 12, 13, 16, and 17 and 20.
I I would put it in 5 to 8
Okay, I'm good with that.
just
Yeah.
because of the legacy of it and the uniqueness of it, right,
Yeah.
for the time. I just, I watch movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think, why can't they make that now?
Yeah.
What is stopping them when they go to write a movie from making something as simple as Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And a lot of it can
Overcomplicating
be said for a lot
everything.
of these movies that are what's that?
I said they're just overcomplicating everything. Instead of just trying to tell a good story, it's almost like they just want to put
Yeah.
too much into stuff instead of just keeping it straight, simple, stupid. Just tell a good story and people will be okay with that. You don't have to have the craziest effects as long as you're doing a good job at telling the damn story. But a lot of these uh, writers and stuff, or whoever the powers that be that are the ones in control of all this stuff, are just, in my opinion, just they overthink stuff anymore. At least on the mainstream side of things, I think anymore a lot of your good horror movies are going to come out of the indie scene because I think they get it as far as you know how things should be presented or what would the viewer want to see in a presentation of a good horror movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
going back to my top 10, let's see here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Cabin in the Woods, I'm going to put it C, and which would be my that'd be my 7 to 8. And this one, great movie, well put together. Not what I was expecting when I first watched it. And for those that might not have seen it, of course, you got the teenage kids, college kids, yet again. It's always college kids. So they go on a trip to this cabin in the woods, and it's supposed to be one of the characters, like it's their uncle's cabin or some crap like that. Can you hear me now? One bad thing about doing it live. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping. Oh, okay. I just wanted to turn that on just to make sure. All right. So, sorry about that, guys. So, getting back into it, I don't know what just happened, but talking about Cabin in the Woods. Oh, stupid thing popped out. I don't know. I might have to recapture Jason's video footage now because, of course, Discord did something dumb. We'll get there in a minute. But Cabin in the Woods, yeah, it was a great movie.
I hear you, Eric.
I'm sorry, you can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
All right. Yeah, I might have to recapture your video feed when I switch scenes over, but yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened. But I was just getting back talking about Cabin in the Woods, and I'm trying to see where I left off. So they were in the cabin, and then they start getting attacked by random monsters, and then you have no idea why or what's going on. But there was a lot of layers to it, and it was a fun way to do a horror movie, and it played out really well. And it's not what you think. Again, it's just it was a different type of horror movie, but I enjoyed it quite a bit, and it's one that typically is on the annual list of movies to watch. Was this one that you watched?
Yeah. I've seen this. When I was kind of thinking back to it, I did a little research and I had forgot that Chris Hemsworth is in it,
Yeah.
and was like, "Wow, that's cool." Not that I'm a big Chris Hemsworth fan, but it was neat to see him. See these actors in a movie like that. So that was neat, and just it really captured 2000. There were a lot of movies made like this in the year in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. So I like that. One of the better ones that were made in the 2000s, no doubt.
Yeah.
And very, anytime you can have those teenagers trapped somewhere, kind of turning on each other is always fun.
Oh yeah. Okay, so our top 20. Where are we at? There we go. Where would you be okay with Cabin in the Woods sitting with what we have left?
I'd be okay with um, probably. Would you be okay with 13 to 16?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't think I could put it in good conscience. Couldn't put it next to Jaws and Exorcist 3.
No, I definitely we may or may not be on the same boat of where I think is going to be at the very bottom, but there's one movie in particular on our list still that I'm like there's no way that I could put well, this is just a me thing. I couldn't put it a certain movie ahead of probably any of these movies that are left on our total list. All right, so going back to yours, we got The Witch, Blair Witch, and The Thing.
Right. Yeah. Uh, let's do The Thing.
All right, and where is this one
Let's do
going?
The Thing. Yeah, so for me this would be in the probably 7 to 8.
Wow, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell
Yeah,
us,
and
why
and
is
only
that there?
well, it's going to have to be there because I like the last two movies better overall.
Okay.
For horror movies, and that's, I guess, the distinction I had to make, I suppose, and may have messed that up with Jaws.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
like, The Thing is a amazing movie, and those that I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're missing something huge. Probably John Carpenter's best movie ever. I think it's better than Halloween by far as his movies go, and the practical effects are top notch. They are.
Yeah, they are really good.
So from a practical, so if I was ranking sci-fi horror movies, this would probably be higher in the list. But if I'm just doing horror movies, I'm like, ah, it to me, in a weird way, I kind of felt sorry for The Thing. I
Yeah,
wasn't like terrified by it. I was more like, this thing looks like it's just trying to get away.
and they just keep going
Like
after
it's
it.
like great because it screeches and squeals, and it sounds like a hurt dog in a
Yeah.
way, and some of it is made of dog that people would find out. But it's like, but what makes the movie awesome is the director John Carpenter did a great job in the movie. The lighting, the actor. I mean, Kurt Russell is he's good, and what's his name? Um, the black guy, Keith. Well, I don't remember his name. Anyway, he was in They Live as well.
Another great movie.
When when he was fighting Roddy the Rowdy Piper.
Yep.
Then I don't remember his name, but he's in it with Kurt Russell. They do a good job. The special effects, maybe the best ever as far as special effects go, and just an overall well executed project. So I think in that aspect, it's a great movie, but I wouldn't call it my favorite horror movie.
So where would you want
That's why I
this
would put it
on
there.
our top 20?
Yeah, I would say maybe it'd have to be a 9 to 12 or 5 to 8, right? Maybe even 1 to 4 because there is 4 slots there.
We got two slots left for 1 to 4,
Yeah.
two slots for 5 to 8. one for 9 to 12, and one for 17 to 20. In the movies,
Well, what do you think of the movie?
well, I'm trying to I'm comparing it with what we have left and where we go.
Yeah.
Now my only concern is the one movie that I was expecting to go at the bottom. I was like, well, damn, he's ranking that one higher than what the hell I would, but we'll get to that.
That's why this is fun.
Damn. I definitely couldn't. I know I couldn't put it at the bottom. I would be okay with this one. Just trying to think. I guess I would put this one. Yeah, we'll go 9, 12. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Why not? I was going between 9, 12,
Okay.
5, 8. I'm going, yeah. Yeah, I'm being indecisive.
That's okay.
Yeah. I think we'll, as always, by the end of it, mistakes are always made, and everything in hindsight, you're going to go, well, I could have probably put this here, there, there, and, that's just how it goes. But,
Yeah.
all right, getting back, let's see here. So with mine, I got Hatchet, Trick or Treat, and Ghost Ship, and I'll go Ghost Ship and put that at C, which Ghost Ship, surprisingly, have you watched this one at all or no?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I have.
It
Yeah.
was surprisingly a lot better than what I was expecting going into it, because with a name like Ghost Ship, I guess the expectations were not very high for me, because I don't remember the trailer, but I remember seeing it when it was coming out, and I was like, well, this is going to be a big cornball fest. So, but whatever, we'll go watch it. I didn't watch it in theaters, but I did watch it when it came out on DVD. And it was a really good story. I can't knock it. It was well put together, and the way they did everything I thought was really good. And I didn't think it did too much. I think it did good at telling the story of what it was, which I don't want to give too much away, but there's this ship that these people are trying to find because the lore is it has like an exuberant amount of gold on it because it's a ship that went down, X amount of years ago, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of stuff starts happening once they once they find the ship and then go into it. And I just thought it was really good, but I didn't think, based off the movies I got here, I was like, I couldn't put it higher just based off of these ones. But it is one for sure. If you haven't watched it, you gotta check it out.
Yeah, I like it as well. Oh, I lost you again, Eric.
You lost me?
No, I'm good now. I can
Okay.
hear you. Yeah, I like it as well. I think it's again, you got to wonder why Hollywood doesn't make more of these movies. Um, there's not it's not a complicated story, but
Yeah.
it works. It's a cool name too.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of coming up with some kind of, they got names now like, well, I'll probably make some viewers mad, but like Sinners, you're like, what? Like this is just the ghost ship, just the ghost ship.
Yep. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's not it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And so, but it's fun. And so I like it. I agree. And I'm where did you put it? Or have you?
I
placed
put
it
it in it would have been my 7 to 8, roughly. That's my 7 to 8 tier. Yeah.
So I see what you're fighting with now. Yeah.
So with our top 20,
I
don't know. I'm looking because like me, I thought Blair Witch was going to be hitting rock bottom. I really did. I was like, oh, that's a layup. But then when you threw me off with the thing, and I went, no way is he putting Blair Witch ahead of the thing. But hey, everybody's got their reasons, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you gave me Killer Clowns, so I'll be definitely okay putting Ghost Ship at the bottom. Because like in my mind, I'm basing it off of the rest of the movies here. Now, granted, I don't know The Witch at all, so I'm like, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
like if I mean, I guess I would ask you then. Do you think The Witch is better than Ghost Ship?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But here's the thing, though. I also respect the fact that people don't like Blair Witch like I do.
Okay.
So, like, it's almost like a Halloween 3 for me, where I'm like, hey, if I'm watching horror movies, I'm gonna grab Halloween 3 probably earlier, and I would grab Blair Witch earlier. But I also understand what people would be like, I don't want that thing. I don't want to even see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people that are like, that's the dumb Blair Witch is the dumbest. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute, but
Yeah.
people think it is the dumbest movie I've ever seen. So
All right. Well,
however you want to run it, but I'm even if
no,
you want to make Ghost Ship higher, you can.
no, I'm good with that. It's fine. Okay, so obviously we have your last two. So I would like to think then is Blair Witch. Well, I'll let you talk. You got Blair Witch and The Witch. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, so let's talk about The Witch, and I'll put that 5 to 6.
Wow, talk about a
Yeah,
swerve.
yeah, a twist, plot twist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the Witch, uh, probably the first reason this movie stands out to me is the set, the costumes, the dialogue of the movie is all like 1600 Pilgrim Puritan type people,
Okay.
and it was made relatively recently, right? I don't know when it was made exactly. In the last few years, I imagine, but the fact that they use all those real uh real set pieces and real atmosphere built around the 1600s, which it looks like the worst time to live ever. It's like right, like everything is bleak, everything is dark, everything is cold, everything is creepy. It just is, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, I don't remember a lot of gore at all in the movie. I don't think there's hardly any gore. But it much like Exorcist 3, much more just psychological,
Yeah.
and it is a slow burn in a way. It's not a movie where there's a lot of jump scares or anything like that, but when you do get to the key parts of the movie, it's, I think it's scarier than heck. So I'm all
Okay.
that's why I like it so much, and so I would put that there, and, I would say for our top list, um, I mean, I would have put this in 5 to 8 is where I would have put this.
All right. Good with that. Yeah. So like me, it's like how I was saying earlier, people have their own shticks as far as what subgenres of horror pique their interest. And psychological ones are hit or miss for me. And it's all about presentation because you can either do it really well or you can do it terrible. And kind of going back just a little bit, like when you were talking about like names of movies, my wife laughs at me because like I will drive this into the ground because I was so mad that I even wasted my time watching it. Because not only like did I see like people raving about this particular movie, but then my wife's cousin was like, "Oh, you gotta watch it. It's so good." And that movie was Smile, and I was so mad that I wasted my time watching it. I was like, "This was exactly like it." I was like, "It." I don't want to say like I knew the story, but I was like, my expectations. It met what I expected it to be, and I didn't like it. I was like, "No, this ain't." I knew this was gonna be something that I didn't like and didn't want to watch, and then I did, and then and then heard the same thing about Night Swim. I was like, the name says it all. Night Swim. Why do I want to watch that? I don't. I don't want to watch it. And it was bad that even my wife, she said she tried turning it on one day just to see. She said she lasted about 20 or so minutes and was like, okay, enough.
Yeah, you're talking about Night Swim, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not seen that. Yeah, and Smile I've seen. Yeah, I agree with you there. Much like I guess you talked about it earlier, overdoing movies, why Hollywood's not successful now as much.
Yeah.
I think about the movie Sinners,
I didn't
and I
watch
think,
that. I heard it was great,
yeah,
but I haven't gotten around to watching it. So, because I don't know anybody who has
yeah,
watched it, I'm just going off of what I've heard other people say, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna figure out when to watch it. I just haven't yet.
yeah, yeah. It's Yeah, it just feels well, yeah, it wasn't my thing mainly because it was way too it crammed way too much into the movie, and it felt like a movie that was written by AI.
Oh gosh, that's
That's what it felt
terrible.
like. That's what it felt like to me, and a lot of people don't agree with that. I was at a gathering a few weeks ago, and people were talking about I was mentioning this video we're doing today, and they were like, "Oh, that's cool. What's your some horror movies you have on the list?" I told them, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have Sinners on there?" I'm like, "No, I didn't like it." And they were like,
No.
"What?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, everybody's got their
so
thing. I get it.
yeah, yeah, everybody's got their thing. So now I'm curious to hear you talk about the next couple.
All right. So, I won't leave us on a cliffhanger here. So my last that's going up in the top is Trick or Treat. Man, that movie. Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. It's one of okay. So it's like it's a movie again. Not saying you have to watch it twice, but it's one of those movies where when you watch it for the second time, you'll appreciate it even more as how they went about doing the storytelling, because it's one of those things where it's like um, I don't want to say similar to Pulp Fiction, but it's similar to Pulp Fiction in the way that there's multiple stories being told, but they all tie together. And I don't want, it kind of bounces around, but it doesn't bounce around in a way that you feel like you're lost. Like where when I first watched Pulp Fiction, I kind of felt lost. Like, why are we going here, here, here? I'm like, what the hell? But this, I felt like they did a good job with tying it all together. But and
So this is like this is the it's like Pulp Fiction where there's different stories that
but they all
like
tie
kind of
together
different
because it's all in the same
okay.
town. So it's like it's different perspectives from different people in this town and there's different scenarios, but it all ties together. And when you see how it's layered out, you'll see exactly what I mean. You're going to go, that's okay, I get it. And it is really well put together. I think it is. Um I think that that's a reason why it has now such a cult following, and one that when you watch it, I would like to think you're gonna say the same thing is, yeah, I have no idea how this was a straight to DVD release and did not go to theaters. Like this, I mean, this was in my opinion, again, it's like this is a layup movie that perfect Halloween movie. And you just went, yeah, we're just going to put it straight to DVD. And I'm like, what the hell is that? It was so good. And, just everything about it. The acting was really well put together. Again, the multiple layers that go into it, it was just really good. And for me, again, going back to how we were talking about newer movies, so this was like I think 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. So for the time, it was like a fresh idea, and it was well executed. And this is one that I watch every year as well. And I I'm not gonna say that you'll watch it every year. You might, but I mean, I think you'll have a great appreciation for it. And I would be quite surprised if you felt like it was just okay when you walked away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to I'm gonna check it out for sure. Yeah, because it sounds great. I love anthology type movies or movies where they have different stories going on from different perspectives, and then yeah,
Yeah.
like it ties it together at some point.
Hmm.
Um, and it's one I haven't seen yet, which is really exciting to me. And even though it didn't make the theater, it's kind of cool that it didn't because
Yeah.
it's one of those maybe underground ones. Like when you had it, when I saw your list and I saw Trick or Treat, and I was like, what? Like I think I know that movie.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to find out. Hopefully that's why people are getting out of today's movie. You were nice enough to have me on, or the video that you're nice enough to have me on.
Yeah.
Finding out new movies you haven't seen.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know,
So with what we have, I have a feeling,
yeah.
obviously, where I know you're going to probably want Blair Witch, and I have no problems. We'll get to it, but I have no problems with Hatchet being at 5 to 8 on our top 20. So I'm assuming Blair Witch will probably that'd be one of your that's going to be your top tier. So getting to that obviously goes without saying because it was the last one on your list. Blair Witch goes into your top slot, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So please
Much to your
explain.
surprise.
Yeah. Yes, please explain how this is at the top of the list.
Yeah, so this movie hit me at the perfect time when I was younger. My wife and I were living together in Columbus, uh, out of high school, but kind of in that weird transition period. I think we were out of this is 1999, right? Or I think it was
Yeah.
2000 or
It was
1999. So
99, yeah.
it was like
Somewhere around
5
there.
years. Yeah, so a lot of my buddies went away to college, came back because I graduated in 95. And so then once they came back and kind of everybody met up as adults again, I suppose, we all kind of a lot of people started splitting off and getting apartments together. So my wife and my at that time my best friend who I graduated high school with both of them, we all lived together. And so there were a bunch of us that went out to see this movie. It scared everybody. I mean, everybody was like, "What in the world?" Because we had seen nothing like it. And I remember seeing ads on, I don't even know where it was, man. It could have been AOL or something, um, online. It was like, and I got an email, I think, about from buddies going, "Look at this movie. It's like found footage. Like these people like actually got killed in the woods." So half of the people going to see it, I think, actually thought it was real.
Yeah.
And um, but I get the fact that people don't like it because nothing happens.
Right.
Nothing happens. There's no gore. I mean, very little gore, if any. But that area of the US in the winter or in the fall time with the leaves, and you mentioned it earlier, getting colder outside, but you can and how they made it and the fact that these kids got together and were basically just given a loose script and then they played, special effects on boom boxes and stuff in the woods at night to scare them. Uh, and it was only shot in like what a week or a week and a half or something. So I look at just the rawness of it, the uniqueness of it, the 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 guts it had to do what it did, and you just stick it in the universe and say, "There you go." Uh, and the fact that coupled with the fact they hit me at the right time, and my wife still says it's the scariest, one of the scariest movies she's ever seen. She won't even watch it now with me. So I like that, and that's why it's in the top list. But I can completely understand why someone doesn't like it. I
S-
completely get it.
So I have an appreciation for it because, like, again, going back to the times, you got to think, 99, 2000. Yeah, we had the internet, but it wasn't at the speed of what it is today. So the internet didn't have enough time to figure out, was it real? Was it not real? What's the deal? Blah, 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 blah. So it was one of those perfect storms where there was enough chatter behind it to get people to still question things and have that drive to go want to watch it. Because I was in the same boat. Because I watched it when I was 13 when it came out, and I was in that same boat because everybody was still like, "Is it real? Found footage, blah blah blah." And so we watched it, and it's like, but then after I watched it, I was like, "This was the stupidest thing I ever watched." That's how I felt. I was like, "Why did I just waste my time watching this? Nothing happens." Like you said, it's like nothing happens. Like, you keep waiting, and you're
Nothing
waiting, and
happens.
you're waiting, and it gets to the part where there's the was it the one the guy standing in the corner. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a guy standing in a corner, and supposedly the witch or the villain kills you,
Right.
right? While he's standing in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like, like I said, for the time, nothing like that had been done. So it's like innovation was there. Absolutely. I can't dispute that. And with the minimal budget that they even had, I can't, I think they still said to this day that was like the highest profiting movie because how low the budget was and how much they ended up making a return on. Like, it was just, the numbers were astronomical.
Yeah, I looked it up. It was 60,000 spent and they made 248 million.
Good Lord. Like, that's
Like
just wild.
yeah, and so the other probably the other thing that popped into my brain, Eric, is that it could also have been how old I was when I saw it because the people shooting the movie, the kids were like my age.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of they didn't play any music that I can remember that was like actual music that we were listening to at the time. But the grungy like the whole grunge thing
Yeah.
of my generation of Gen X was like that's prototypical of them. They go to a hotel before they go out into the woods and they kinda they drink, and then one of the girl I think is like, she's like, "I wish we had some weed," and it made me chuckle because I'm like, "Wow," like, back then, if you were going to a party or you were going out and, I lived in a small town, but weed wasn't legal.
Yeah.
It was like so it was so like it was well, it was hard to find. It wasn't something you're just gonna find. Right now, you just buy it in a store like you're buying a six-pack of soda
Right.
or a case of soda. So it's like that kind of atmosphere really took me into it and was like, wow, these kids are like me. They're just out there having fun, and now they're getting tortured by a witch.
Yeah. No, I
So
mean, I get it. Like I said,
anyway,
I totally
yeah.
understand. It was just, I mean, if anything, like I was like, because like what you say, like I know, loosely, roughly like what your age range is. So I was like, I know I could see that maybe not being at the very bottom, but I was not expecting it to be at the top. I was not, that threw me off. I was like, wow, okay. I was expecting maybe 5 to 6. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
go ahead.
yeah, it's no, no, I think you're right. So I don't mind even if you were like, dude, put this at the bottom. Well, I guess we can't, can we?
No, I put it up at the top because I was like, because the reason is because I was already in my mind. I was like, as much as I would have wanted to put Hatchet up at the top, I'd put it here in the 5 to 8 because even on my own list, I would have I'm going to be putting it here in my 3 to 4 category, and I just might as well go into it now. But Hatchet, for those that might not have watched it, it's it's literally a callback to the Friday the 13th series and those 80s slasher movies, right? And having Kane Hodder in it, who plays Jason, is Victor Crawley. So it's just like another little nostalgic dose, right? Thrown your way while watching this. And a similar story to the Jason Voorhees story. It's, Victor Crawley, he's deformed. He's being taken care of by his dad. And this is the story you hear about. This is how it all comes to be. And he ends up being trapped in a house because these kids accidentally light it on fire. And then his dad accidentally kills him. And it's a whole thing. And then you see how it all plays out. And then, of course, again, I don't want to say they're all college kids, but they're younger at the very least in their 20s, go to New Orleans for like Mardi Gras, and they're trying to do this, that, and the other thing. And they want to do a night boat ride, and ends up they get attacked by none other than Victor Crawley, and it's what you would expect at that point. But again, the prosthetics and practical effects, fantastic in a day and age where they could have just said, screw it, we'll do CGI, but they didn't want to do it that way. And that's actually, kind of like that's what made it. So like when you're seeing some of the kill scenes, you're like, how the hell did they do that? And it was just really well put together, and it's a series that I enjoy. I have all 4 of them at the house, and it's a series that I feel if you like the 80s slashers, you're definitely going to love this.
I agree. I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen after that, so I wrote that down. But yeah, the practical effects are great. Obviously, Kane Hodder
Yeah.
was the best Jason, and and it was gory. What I
Yeah,
remember of it was gory,
it
right?
was.
I mean, it's not it's not like a Friday the 13th, and the fact that there's not a lot of gore. This one had a ton of gore, so yeah, I liked it. It was I can see why you really like this one,
Yeah, I would
no
say
doubt.
this was like Terrifier before Terrifier on how much they upped the gore factor
Right.
with practical effects. I was like, I hadn't seen nothing like it. I was like, and it blew me away. I was like, wow, I can't believe they're doing this and then making it look as real as what they did. It just, again, it was really, really, really good. And yeah, I mean, of course, you gotta be into those types of movies. Not everybody is, and I understand that, but definitely one that would be suiting for the Halloween season for sure. But yeah, that is all we have for today, folks. We've been on for quite a while. It was good conversation. Glad that Jason, you took the time to hang out with me this morning. Now creeping into almost afternoon now, but I'm glad that you did hang out. I hope you did have a good time this morning. And yeah, I mean, this doesn't have to be a one and done thing. If there's anything else that we can come up with in the future, I'd love to have you back on. And yeah, any final words for yourself?
No, Eric, awesome, great time. Really enjoyed it. This was much more relaxing than doing a real estate video. So thank you. And
Absolutely.
I appreciate I appreciate the opportunity, and I'd love to come back on, man. And I know I'm going to have you on my channel soon.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. So, well, with that being said, everybody, thanks again for hanging in there with us. And I may or may not be on tomorrow to do some retro gaming. We'll see what happens. But until then, have a great rest of your day, everybody. And possibly, if I don't come on, have a great rest